Hello, Room 21 friends. Hey, it's time for us to start a new chapter book read aloud. And I have selected this one. It's called Gooseberry Park, and it is so cute. It's written by Cynthia Rylant, and many of you know this author because she writes all of the Mr. Putter and Tabby books that we loved, that we read during guided reading groups. So she's the author. And if you look on the cover, you're going to see this dog named Kona, which is our main character. And this dog Kona lives in a house his name is Professor Albert, and he's a retired college professor. And he also shares his house with a hermit crab named Gwendolyn, and they're really, really good friends. So Professor Albert takes Kona for walks at a park, and it's called Gooseberry Park. And when Kona is at the park with Professor Albert, Kona meets a squirrel named Stumpy. And Kona and Stumpy become really, really good friends. Kona adores Stumpy, and Stumpy is going to have babies. So, and then there's this little bat right here that we're also going to meet in the story. It's such a cute story. I think you guys are going to love it. I'm going to read you the teaser so you'll know a little bit about what to expect. It says, "You could call it unusual, strange, in fact. Most dogs chase squirrels, but not Kona. He's friends with a squirrel named Stumpy. Kona thinks that Stumpy's the best thing since chocolate doggy treats. So when a dangerous ice storm hits Gooseberry Park, all Kona can think about is Stumpy and her newborn babies. Can they survive in the freezing cold? Kona wants to help, but the journey to Gooseberry Park is icy and treacherous. It will be difficult and a risky trip, but sometimes a dog will risk it all for a best friend." So it's called Gooseberry Park. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and read you chapter 1, which is called A New Nest. And in this chapter, Stumpy the squirrel is busy preparing her nest for the babies that are about to arrive. And this is called nesting. And humans do this too, they say, before mothers give birth. They're really busy at their house cleaning and organizing and preparing and getting the nursery ready. It's called nesting. And animals do the same thing in the wild. They get their nest ready for the arrival of their babies. So that's what Stumpy is busy doing in our first chapter. So let's go ahead and dive in. It's called A New Nest. And you can see Stumpy right over here. All new mothers have a nesting instinct, even human mothers who haven't any idea how to build a nest. While human mothers are waiting for their babies to be born, their nesting instinct causes them to do the silliest things, such as taking all the pots and pans out of one cabinet and putting them in another. Human mothers don't know why they are doing this, except that some little voice in their heads is saying, "Keep busy, keep busy." A sensible rabbit mother who hears this little voice will simply pluck her fur with her teeth to make a nice warm baby bed for the near future. But a mixed up human mother will just wander about her kitchen, switching her cabinets for no reason at all. Thus, it was a good thing that Stumpy was a squirrel. She knew a nesting instinct when she felt one, and she knew what to do about it. For many days now, every part of her red squirrel body had been shouting, "Keep busy, keep busy." And was she ever keeping busy? For the new nest she was building, she had collected the choicest twigs and the finest leaves. And because she was sure of what was about to happen, bits of the pink dotted, blue flowered, or green starred material that could be had by a little digging in the can behind the town sewing shop. One morning she had even happened upon a bit of cloth that was decorated with pictures of little red squirrels carrying small brown nuts, and she nearly fainted away. It was better than she could have hoped for her new babies. And new babies indeed were what she was about to have. Babies to love, to keep clean, to bring up close against her fur in the dark night. Stumpy was about to become a mother, and oh, was she proud and busy, quite busy. Carefully, she lined her new nest with the twigs, the leaves, and the bits of beautiful cloth. She had recently moved from an old locust tree on the south side of Gooseberry Park to a pin oak on the east. She had moved because, like most who live alone, Stumpy had been rather relaxed about her housekeeping, and her old nest had become difficult to move around in. You see, Stumpy was a collector, and her nest was full of treasures. She had tremendous energy, and after she had found as many acorns and pine cones as could be eaten by one little squirrel, she burned up the rest of her energy by collecting. Stumpy collected these things: tabs from soda pop cans, empty yogurt cups, gum wrappers, coins, ice cream sticks, straws, feathers, pretty pebbles, little balls lost by children, nuts, bolts, screws, tacks, twist ties, rubber bands. Her most beautiful treasure of all, though, had been a lovely watch that glowed in the dark. 2 winters ago, she had found it lying on top of a picnic table. She took it to her nest and didn't realize until evening what a marvel it was. As darkness came, the watch began to shine, and Stumpy's nest became bathed in a soft green light. Animals who passed at night were drawn to it. Everyone came to see it, and news spread far and wide of the glow-in-the-dark nest in Gooseberry Park. So here's a close-up picture of Stumpy. You can see her there in her nest. Yes, she collects the things that squirrels need to survive, things that she needs to eat, but she also collects all kinds of other things that we just listed on the last page. And there is the glow-in-the-dark watch. And at nighttime, her nest glows and it gives off this beautiful glow, and she loves it so much. It's her favorite treasure. Unfortunately, the news spread too far and too wide. Someone came one day and stole that watch from Stumpy's nest. Stumpy never found it again, though for weeks she sat high in her tree at night and looked out over the park, hoping to see that soft green glow. She never did. Still, Stumpy had other treasures. In fact, too many treasures, and her collection had gotten all out of control. Stumpy knew that no self-respecting mother of several young children could have her babies sleeping among wood screws and twist ties. So she found a new tree and built a clean nest and organized her collection to give plenty of room for her babies. Her friend Kona would be proud of her house cleaning. Each time she collected something new, Kona would say to her, "Stump, you've too many things." And she would answer, "Not things, treasure." And Kona would say, "Stump, my owner, Professor Albert, has a chess set crafted in pure silver, a crystal punch bowl, and a set of plates from China. That's treasure." Well, what could a Labrador dog know about treasure anyway? Thought Stumpy. Kona was a good friend, a fine friend, but he had no imagination. If he had, he'd be living in the park collecting feathers and balls instead of sitting in a boring ranch house with Professor Albert. Stumpy had babies and copper pennies and even the chance of finding another glow in the dark watch to look forward to. She went on carefully layering her maple leaves and flowered cloth and green twigs into a safe, warm pocket. Her friend Kona might not regard gum wrappers and ice cream sticks as treasure, but Stumpy knew the noble dog would not mistake the priceless value of life in the tall pin oak tree. The tree that for her would be a harbor in a storm. The tree that her own babies would call home. So we just met Stumpy, the squirrel, in the first chapter. And the whole chapter, the big important thing about it is that she's preparing her nest for her babies. She's nesting. But Stumpy was a collector. She still is a collector. She loves collecting things. So she knew that her nest was not safe. It was not a safe place to have babies. So she moved herself to a new tree. She's gathering fabric and twigs and leaves, and she's lining it and making it cozy and warm and a comfy, safe place so that she can have her babies. So that is the end of chapter 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back later for chapter 2.